And we are live. You can catch us on YouTube and Rumble. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. We'll be right back with you, Howlers. We'll be right back. Howls over Baaz. I'm Jacob Casas.
I'm Rico Savage.
And today, this episode is called Digital Real Estate. We have a very special guest in the house from a contact, Brendan Boyd. We appreciate you. But we got a very special guest in the house. We want you to introduce yourself. Just tell our audience your name and what you do for a living.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on, you guys. This is awesome. My name is Julianne Crafton. I am the owner or co-owner of JJC Unlimited, and we create digital real estate assets for clients that are cash flowing within the first 60 days.
So, can you explain a little bit about that e-commerce, how it works? And
absolutely,
they love the how-to. The audience love that. So, why don't you explain that a little bit? Because I guarantee the Inland Empire, because our audience is Inland Empire, I guarantee they don't know what that is. So, why don't we start with that?
You know, I didn't reinvent the wheel here. All I do, I always laugh. People are like, "What do you do?" And I'm like, "I buy stuff and sell it," and that's really what it comes down to, right? So, e-commerce is just a really big thing. Is that brick and mortar stores are really going by the wayside, right? They're not carrying as much stuff in inventory, and so marketplaces, unlike your own website, already have ready, willing, and able customers and consumers that want to buy. They're just looking for the products that they need to buy, right? And so we set up on these ready-to-buy e-commerces like Amazon, like Walmart, like eBay, and any other newer ones that come on, but those top three are the biggest market share. We set up stores for them underneath the client's business, okay? Not underneath their personal name, but their business, so that it's cash flowing. We fill them with profitable products that they make a very, very good living from.
Is it kind of,
to do it.
So is it kind of like affiliate marketing too at the same time, or not really?
Not really.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't really have it. I mean, you can do affiliate marketing that would complement it.
So it's their own products or products. Okay.
Their own products. So I've spent the last 20 years building up a massive web of distributors and manufacturers in the United States and abroad. So I do importing and we do exporting.
Okay.
Whether you're working in this space here in the United States, or you want to go to Mexico, Canada, Middle East is a big one for us. Australia, Egypt, those are all really big pieces.
Can you tell them some of the products that you? I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of them, right? But is there a specific like products that you? Yeah.
Top sellers.
Top sellers. So here's the funny thing. The top selling products that are the most profitable are the most unsexy products that are out there. They're just consumable.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like vitamins or something.
Supplements is a big one. Supplements is a massive one. But there's a lot like machine parts, right? So you've got a lot of diesel and trucks in this area. My background is in agricultural and construction machine parts, any type of wear product. Bull gears, injectors, carburetors, fenders, steering wheels, you name it. I may not be able to drive those things, but I can tell you all the parts.
Wow. Okay. So if I had, okay, so let's go with supplements first. It's funny because I have a diesel repair shop, so talking about machine parts, but there is something, one of the other hosts here, he's not here right now, but he is starting a supplement company. Mm-hmm. So, okay, let's just break this down. Good for, the audience. So let's just say, because he has no idea about this, about how to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that at all. That's what I love about this podcast. We can learn how to do things for our own businesses.
It's like, how's over Baaz College?
I know. It's like,
better than college.
No. So let's just say he came over here and he's like, okay, I got these supplements. How do I start?
So there's a couple things. So number one, you need to figure out, do you want to sell a brand or do you want to just sell products to produce an income? Because there's a different strategy for both.
Can you explain both of them? Let's start with because that's so it'd be more like you pretty much just slap somebody else's logo on it and you sell yours, or how, just I'll let you explain.
So there's
like private
multiple-
labeling, you know.
Right. There's that strategy that you're going to do a private
Oh,
label.
so there is a private labeling one.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
There's private label, there's wholesaling, which means you're selling somebody else's product. So
Okay.
you're not creating the brand. Private labeling, any type of product, is bringing your product to market. It doesn't have to be new, like it's not been on there before, but your brand is new. So then you want to develop that brand strategy first, and then make sure that the quality of the supplements or whatever product you're trying to advertise and sell is what you want it to be, right? So you need to find that manufacturer and pair up with them, make sure that they've got the products that you want at the price point that you need. And then if it's a brand that you're going to go after, you're going to have your trademark, you're going to have brand registry for Amazon, and you need to do that very much for that protection. Otherwise, you'll have so many other people knocking off your products, and you got to be careful.
So what is it called when if it's somebody else's brand, but you put your name on it? Or
Private labeling.
private labeling.
That's
Private
private
labeling?
labeling. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're the manufacturer. So if you have aftermarket parts, right? Aftermarket parts in whatever industry or niche that you're in, doesn't have to be in machine parts or trucks or anything like that, but if you buy the off-brand, it's a private label. 9 times out of 10, those are made in the same manufacturing plant. It's not just they don't have the stamp on it for if it's a John Deere or Massey Ferguson or
Dang,
it's a
she knows her
Hayes cream or
stuff.
Face Cream,
She knows
right?
John Deere and all that.
From the
Come
farm,
on.
from the farm to the mechanic shop.
It's funny. I grew up in very agricultural, rural
We
Michigan.
work on John Deere's over here, but like that's not a common engine that everybody works on, you know. But we work on them because I worked at. There are a lot of buses
Yes.
that are John Deere's.
Yeah.
So
It's funny. I may be a girly girl, but I do a lot. Both and I was mentioning earlier, my oldest son is a diesel mechanic.
oh really? That's what I did for like 17 years,
Yeah.
wrenching. Yeah.
He's now decided that he likes MySpace a little bit better. It's a little easier.
Yeah. So let's just say he came in here.
Yeah.
And he said, okay, because what I believe is he has somebody he goes to that makes the supplements.
Sure.
They have their own, but he wanted a certain kind made specifically.
Right.
So he's getting the supplements in the States.
Yep.
And then he went, and I suppose this, because he was had one of the biggest MMA schools in the world. This guy is hardcore when it comes to training, supplements, anything. He wants the realest stuff there is. So he's probably paying more because of the quality is better. But let's just say now he has that. He slaps his own brand on it because he wants to brand it. I know I was talking to him.
Right.
So let's say he brands it with his own brand.
Yep.
And let's just go from that step now. So now he tells
Absolutely.
you, this is what I want to do.
So here's how I would guide him to start with. So number one, I'm assuming he's got a trademark in his logo already, right?
No, not yet, but
yet?
that's what
Okay.
he would do.
So those would
he,
be
he already knows how to do all
The
that.
first
and
things you need
yeah,
because
because
you can't put it out without.
well, yeah.
you know what I mean?
But, oh yeah, for the audience, yes, you got to have that because he's everything he has been he has brands and they're all trademarked, so he understands that situation.
Yes.
But yeah, for the audience, they need to know you have to trademark your brand before pushing your product out.
I don't want to get sued.
Well, yeah, you don't know. But one of the biggest marketplaces besides the top 3, right, is Amazon. They still have the largest market share that's out there. So Amazon has something called brand registry. Brand registry is a sort of a protection for big brands, small brands, new brands, whatever it is, to go in and you register your brand. Even if it's just a trademark application, you don't need the actual
Through
trademark.
Amazon,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a separate account versus
they
a
don't
seller
own
account.
any of it though. Like Amazon doesn't take like. I mean, I know they get a piece
No,
when
they
they sell.
don't own any of the brand. You're just registering.
I didn't
your
know that.
brand.
That is.
Because I know people who sell through Amazon,
Yeah.
like certain products. It could be either household or
Yeah.
a certain thing like lights or something like
Yeah.
that, and they put it on
Yeah,
Amazon.
and that's
sell.
probably what you're talking about. The same
Yeah.
thing.
Well, and it's something that you want to make sure that you have to give permission to. So as that brand owner, the trademark owner, when you register it on Amazon, it gives you an extra layer of protection so that somebody can't come and knock you off, somebody can't sell it that's not supposed to be selling it, or sell the brand incorrectly or at an incorrect price.
Well, I didn't know that at all.
Well,
There you go.
Well, do you need so with when you're doing digital? Do you need licensing? A certain licensing, like say, because obviously it's not a store shop or
Right,
front,
so there's lots of different types of trademarks, so it's all dependent upon
There is.
what type of, yes, yeah.
So do they need to patent the actual product, or do they just need to trademark the name? I mean, that's
Well, no,
it's just
it's
independent.
somebody else's.
So
No, but he's
patent-
getting it made though, so
Yeah.
he's going to
Oh,
own
okay.
it.
So
He's gonna-
patents and trademarks are two different
Yeah.
things, and so you can they're two very different things depending on what the product is. You don't need a patent for something that you're private labeling off of somebody else's manufacturing unless it is like his formulation is like it, right?
Yes.
So that's a whole different type of patent that he would have to go after. But trademark will still cover him for his brand and that formulation. He would need an exclusive agreement for whoever's manufacturing it to make sure that that protection is there and they can't sell that formula, that recipe, to anybody else.
Okay.
Right? And not even the specifics. And so you have to be really careful specifically with supplements due to that because it is a recipe. So think of it as your grandmother's spaghetti or their meatloaf or whatever it is. You have to be very, very careful and cautious that nobody else can knock that off just by adding 2 or 3 minor ingredients and changing
Calling
it
it
up.
theirs, yeah.
Yeah.
Before we keep going, you got some fans on here. You have Lambo, Drew, TMT, Let's Go, JJC.
Lambo and Renata. They're awesome, awesome couple.
And then excited about this. Let's crush this jewel. And then just hello, everyone, they said. How you doing? Shout out to Lambo, Drew, TMT.
Yes.
So after all, like you said, he comes to you.
Yep.
After all that,
Let's say the trademark, just the trademark. Let's go with that.
Then what do you do?
Yeah, brand registry step
Through Amazon.
Yep.
Okay.
It's a separate login that you have. As soon as you have
I'm gonna
that,
play this back so many times.
You need to.
I've already liked it what I'm hearing.
So you set up your brand registry account. It doesn't cost anything. You upload your documents, and even if you don't have the trademark yet, you just have the application. That's enough to get started, okay? And that protects your brand. And then you open up your Seller Central account. So it's Amazon Seller Central. And with that, you want to put your company information in. You want to fill out your appropriate taxes, and everybody has a little bit different depending on what state they're in and who does their taxes. You set up your store, okay? You're going to add in your business bank account, add in your business EIN, all that good stuff. And then you're going to go back in your brand registry and give your storefront access to that trademark. And that's the key. So that anybody that comes into it, now there's lots of different ways to set it up, but that's the most protected way to do it. And depending on what niche it's in, because it's in a supplement niche, Amazon will lock it down closer than if it's in like a home goods niche, right? Because it's important, you're taking it's an adjustable, and so they need to make sure that you have the proper licensing and materials. And so they may ask you for some FDA information from the manufacturer, which they will supply it for you, testing information due to it being, again, an ingestible supplement. And so you go through those steps and hoops, and then you populate your listings. You add your A+ content. You put in your keywords. You develop the description so that it's rocket, 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 and you have a honeymoon period. I say that in kind of air quotes when you launch a new listing, and that Amazon will automatically, without you having to advertise, put you at the top as long as you've stuffed everything right and you've got beautiful pictures, a great video,
Okay.
and it gets you a kind of a boost in a launch.
Okay. So you do a video, you do a bunch of different things, and the more you do, they probably put you at the top. And this is what
people are buying off their phones, so they're selling. You got to sell the picture.
So is this what you help them with, or they do this and then they go to you? Like, how does this work?
So it goes both ways. We
Okay.
do some mentorships where you can go on a call with me for an hour every week for 6 weeks, right? And it's X amount of dollars depending on what you need. And if you need contact with manufacturers, you need contact with distributors, or if you just need generalized help on how to get your store launched and your products, it's a different story. Or they come to us and say, hey, I don't want to do this, but I've got a business, I got a company, I want you to run my business, and we're their service provider, and we're essentially their store manager. And so we do all the day-to-day stuff, the logistics, shipping information, listing information,
Wow.
connect them with the distributors, all the hard work.
So from front to back and all that happens, how many weeks or how many months does that
So
for you
there's-
just to start and you're gone and
No,
not gone,
with the
but
mentorship.
you put them on there, yeah.
Yeah,
How
so
long
for the
does that take?
mentorship, I mean, in 6 weeks, they're going to have some legwork, right? You're going to get homework. When they come to me and say that, I can only do so much in that hours a time per week, so I'm going to give you a lot of homework, and you're going to have to do it. And that's what I call bootstrapping it, right? If you're determined and maybe you don't have the cash to pay me to do everything, I'm going to give you some homework to be able to connect things up. But there's some definite legwork that you've got to get done and taken care of in order for it to be successful. And then when you don't, let's say you don't have the time to do that because you have a career, you have another job, you have whatever you're doing, but you've got the finances and inventory capital, and you want to pay me to do it for you, I've been doing this for almost 20 years.
Well, so you just handle the whole thing for them.
We handle the thing.
So you got a pretty big team?
I do.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Can you say how big your team is? Or
So we've got over 20 people that work for us now. Those 20 are here in the United States. And then we do source out a few things that are sort of an aggregate for us, but the
Yeah,
biggest part of it is the
understand.
software. And my husband's the brains
Software.
of the company. I always say that. And he does. He's the hard worker, but he hates being out front, right?
Yeah.
But he's definitely the brains.
A lot of the
operation.
guys that are the brains of the operations do not want to be up front.
That's why we're
Yeah.
out here, right?
Like, I got to do this part.
I know, right? That's my job.
So tell us about that. So you have the software, and that's what differentiates you from everybody else?
Yeah, that's the automation part. And when we do the work for a client or a customer, and we help you set up your store, I mean, they have to open up the store. It's their business. It's, cash goes into their bank accounts, doesn't come to me. We have a profit split because I need to have skin in the game.
Well, yeah.
I need to know if I can make you more money, I can make myself more money too, right?
Is there is it vary on each product or person you're dealing with?
80-20.
At 80-20. That's a good that's a good sales percentage.
It's not bad. I
anyways.
mean, because you're making a lot of, because it's a lot to be made.
So the more money you make them, the more money you make. So it actually works for you regardless.
It's a win-win, and that's the best relationship.
Is there a package deal to start it up, or is it?
There's two.
There's
we have
two.
two main packages. One is for a single marketplace. Typically, I'm always going to recommend Amazon because it's the biggest, right?
Yeah.
Let's go, go big or go home.
Right.
And then, but it's not to say that the other two marketplaces, Walmart and eBay, they have separate clients. I have a ton of data, and we refresh it every couple of years to prove that your local, whatever your store that you feel comfortable in, same as the marketplace, you're going to stay there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so why not get an extra? What if it's a third of what you bring in Amazon? Are you going to say no to that? No, you're not going to say no to it, and you're going to leverage the same distributors. And so let's just do it.
Can you give us? I mean, you don't have to say who or exactly how much, but can you give us a ballpark of what maybe some of your biggest clients produce? What they
month?
bring in monthly? Yeah.
Over $500,000 a month.
Hey,
Wow.
give her the Howls over Baaz card.
And you've got
Give her
you've
the
got a
Howls over
couple
Baaz
of things
card.
to think about too. So if you've got now you're talking about you've got ROI, you got profit, right? So generally, historically, I can't guarantee where things are going to be, but I can tell you what we average, right? And when it starts off, it's 4 to 8%. Now 4 to 8% every 14 days. 14 days. Your inventory gets turned around in every 14 days because your deposits come back to you every 14 days. So what you spend today comes back to
2
you.
weeks.
Cash flow, gross sales minus Amazon or minus platform fees, which are what the marketplaces charge you every 14 days. So that's a really quick turnaround. So the more times that I can turn your inventory, the more profitable you are because you get your money back. So it's the cash flow that's really heavy. And I'm only limited, or where it's going to be, my ceiling is where you tell me the inventory capital budget is, right?
Okay.
And then you can turn it twice. So it's not always leveraging your cash. You can leverage your credit lines, your credit cards, things like that, because you're getting it come back to you so often.
And then the people that you just named, the big accounts.
Yeah.
What are their main products that they're selling?
I was just going to ask that.
It's varied. It really is. Because, and we don't just stay in one niche. So we go in, and that's part of the background information that we do for the first 4 weeks, 5 weeks, massively.
I feel like machine parts would do very well.
It does.
Because they're expensive.
What about
They
clothing?
are
and-
really
expensive.
profitable.
What about
Yeah.
clothing and food products?
I stay away from clothing. I stay away from a lot of fashion items, high returns.
I hear that all the time. A lot of people stay from garment.
Some
Yeah.
people do really well. Like if you sell shoes and you do super at it, that's awesome. That's just not my niche.
'Cause I follow somebody. They do clothing.
Yep.
He resells. It's called Spider.
Oh,
he
yeah.
he resells it, but he's 18 years old. He's making millions.
But he's a hustler. He's a hustler, right?
You
That's
know what I'm
awesome.
talking about? It's a kid out of, I think he's out of California, but he's making millions. He has a whole warehouse and everything. He's making millions at,
Oh, yeah,
at
yeah.
18 years old.
Oh, you heard of
He's
him
a
then?
hustler. I have not heard
Oh.
of him, but there's a lot of those out there. They do a lot on TikTok too.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
the same concept. And if you can bootstrap it and hustle like that,
great.
I love it.
Yeah, there's always going to be exceptions, but I know garment's a tough industry and the people try to stay away from it.
Well, you've got inventory, so think about it. If you
Yeah.
have how many sizes are just in this building here
Yeah.
from people, and so you have to carry them and then
And
styles.
food products and stuff like that, like liquids. Because I see
Some
people go to
poof-
stores and get it
yeah.
for low, and then resell them on.
So these are only new products, number one, and so these are only products we stay within outdoor sporting goods. We do some home goods products. We do a little bit in electronics, but not most electronics. Like I'm not selling computers, again, because you're looking at high returns. We try, obviously, the more that we can be profitable for our clients, the better we are. One of our biggest niches is in the parts that, wear parts, the consumable parts. I do a lot in bags, which sounds really crazy, right?
Handbags, like women bags. Or?
Nope, not handbags, but you got
Oh, the bags all the guys are wearing right here. God,
No,
like this dude wears.
Fanny packs.
There's locking medication bags. There's money bags.
Like medical bags. Something
Really?
Like that,
Some, yeah, stuff that you wouldn't think
duffel
about.
duffel bags.
So what's one of the
Duffel
big
bags, some tool bags.
really, and they do very well,
Yes.
huh? So you're making me think about a lot of things. You know what I mean?
And I bring a lot of those in, from Turkey, from India, from Greece, from Italy, and Germany is one of our biggest ones.
Is supplements something that you would recommend, or is it a tough industry to get into for this? For what you do?
It's high saturation, but you have to figure out a strategy to keep yourself separate and how you're going to break into the market.
Like from everybody else?
Yeah. So my father was a builder. Then they bought a restaurant in the 80s when real estate crashed because they both like to cook. I'm not sure how that worked in, but they did really well. So I worked in that and grew up in that. And the reason I tell you that is because alcohol was like 75% margin, right, when we were in the restaurant business. And that was really good. Supplements, it's like 120. 150.
Everybody's on that health tip right now.
Well, and it's important because, okay, here's a little private passion. I have gone to a naturopathic doctor for over 30 years. I was in a terrible car crash when I was a teenager, and to no fault of anybody's, but it happened. And so even though I think there's a very, very big place for regular medical doctors, and I thank God for them every day, I still know that the reason that I can walk today, the reason I had children, is all because somebody else took notice and did things a little bit differently and thought outside that circle instead of keeping everything inside the box.
Wow, that sounds interesting. So, can you tell us a little bit about that? I do want to ask another question, but let's jump into that real quick. What happened? What happened to that? And you said you had a doctor that took a little more interest and that helped you out more, and explain that a little bit.
Absolutely. So supplements, and this kind of goes back to that same thing, right? So when you're trying to heal your body and give it what it needs, you have to solve and heal the root problem, not just the symptoms. And that's the real key difference. A lot of your medical doctors today, and there's always exceptions, so it's not, not trying to bash anybody whatsoever, but the majority of your problems will stem from your mitochondria, right? There's a really great book out there. It's called Good Vibes that will give you a ton of information. I didn't write it, but I appreciate Megan who did. But when you think about that, what is your mitochondria? Because I didn't know what it was. But it's all those things in that works inside of your gut that stem to your brain, to your ability to your blood to flow better than it's supposed to be, for the food to be digested properly, for all of the metals and the vitamins and the B2s and the even just your vitamin D, like how your body absorbs it and facilitates it is going to be different. And the foods that I eat versus what you eat and what you eat, everybody can be different. Like I can't tolerate, I don't like tomatoes, but maybe I can't tolerate tomatoes, right? I cook with them all the time. We do all kinds of different stuff. But if you find out how your body works, how you function best and optimally, it's like putting the best fuel. If you've got racing fuel in an engine, that's going to work more optimally than something that is, low grade 85, right? And so how are you going to make that change? It's the same thing. It's what you fill your body with that's going to make the difference in how the outcome is going to be.
Yeah.
Let me read it.
Yeah, go ahead. We have a few. We have people in the chat. You're lighting up.
That's some good questions for you. Lambo, he said, Jeremiah does this. It says, explain the 50-piece system for us.
So a 50-piece system, we have a couple of guarantees, and I can't guarantee life other than there's death and taxes, right? But there's a couple of things I can guarantee. Hey, we got to be real
that's
here.
That's crazy because it's true.
Hearing it sounds crazy.
But what you have to do, or the guarantees that we have to do is. Some people in every single industry, there's bad actors, right? And so just like e-commerce, any other real estate industry, like you were talking about, you've got somebody who's trying to take advantage of somebody else. And unfortunately, we've had that happen in this industry as well. And so in order to counteract that and to make our clients say, hey, you have this and this is what you can hold me accountable to, and I'm going to highlight out what I'm going to hold you accountable to. And it's a 50-50. And that's what Lambo's talking about. Yeah. And so when you're putting that together, I'm going to say it's going to take me 4 to 5 weeks to get you connected, meaning that I have to have those distributors connected to your store for real-time communication and instant live inventory, order transfers, and tracking information, because those marketplaces track your store metrics better than anybody else.
Right.
And it's not a B. You cannot be a B rating, babe. You have to be an A rating for Amazon to like you, and Walmart is the same. eBay's a little bit under utilized because it doesn't have as good a technology. But then the other thing is you're going to be cash flowing within 60 days. So how can I say that? Because I'm confident in our process and our way to automate. My husband is the master when it comes to that, and Jeremiah has his eye on that every single day. So 60 days you're going to be cash flowing, and within 90 days you're going to have at least $10,000 of cash flow, or I'm going to pay you $10,000. And if I have to pay you $10,000 because I didn't do my job,
It's on you.
my husband will not
pissed.
be very happy with me, and I'm not going to be very happy with me. Knock on wood, Lord willing, I never had to do that, and I don't want to, and I shouldn't have to.
It's accountability.
It is, and you have to be accountable. I mean, this is the age of collaboration. This is the age of you can't do it by yourself in that solo entrepreneurship. You've got to find somebody who's done it before, so you can buy back the time that you would have lost by trying to do it all yourself.
It's the same thing with his business and with the podcast. You know what I mean? He obviously he used to wrench. Now he has somebody to do it for him. So everybody has a lane. And no matter, I mean, there's no empire without soldiers.
And see, that's what I kind of want to get into. So explaining how they can get in through Amazon and all that kind of stuff. Why go through you guys? That's what I want you to explain to the people now. So what can you do for them, and why you guys?
One of the things is that we're real people, right? There's been clients that have come to us that had experiences with other companies that do what we do, right? It's not rocket science. It's not. But the real difference is that I care about my clients' results, and I'm held accountable just like I'm going to hold them accountable to do what they need to do. As a business owner,
Everybody needs to be held accountable.
You have to be responsible.
Yes. Yeah.
Because if
a lot of business owners don't think that.
No,
They
but
don't.
if you blow that inventory, money because you're just, the cash flow is just, too sparkly for you, then I can't continue to do my job, and you're just cutting my paycheck. You're firing me. Well, guess what? That's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Because our biggest overhead is that first year. To getting that store launched and scaled, that's when my biggest overhead. So I love year 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's profitability for us. And that's more profitability for that client. So I work for them. I grew up in the service industry, and I'm determined to do that same thing and white glove service to every single one of our clients.
I love that. I like how you explained it. A lot of people explain it so differently, and they explain it with more like a sales pitch.
I don't like selling. I just want to
don't
tell you
either.
about.
Yours is educational.
Yes.
That's how I feel when I speak to you. It feels like you're just speaking about educating us about what you do for the business.
Everybody talks about secret sauce, and they do all these hooks, and then they never tell you what that secret sauce is because they can't. If they reveal that, they'll know that they didn't really have anything.
Well, the thing is too is people. A lot of people think, okay, I'm not going to give all my information out because they're going to copy me. We know that there's a very small percentage of business owners, and they are not going to exactly. They are not going to copy you. They are not going to do it. They don't. Most people just don't take that initiative. They rather have somebody. If this person can, if that's what they specialize in, because they already have so much else going on in the business.
Absolutely.
If someone specializes in that, they usually just dive into that because they're like, I ain't touching that. I'm already. My hands are completely full with this, and this is what they specialize in.
But as a business owner, you should be transparent with them because they need to know what's going on at a high level. Do they need to know every time we have a listing IP violation that we have to get that cleared up? Probably not.
Yeah, that'll just freak them out.
Exactly.
You deal with all the BS that you need to deal with behind the scenes, and it looks a little pretty to them.
That's why you're there.
That's why you pay me to do my job. Yes.
Yeah. It just freaks everybody out if you tell them every single thing,
And you know what? This world, I have been blessed to be able to travel all over this world for business primarily and meet and greet so many people. And it's been a huge blessing. But here's the thing. It's a big world. And so if you want to copy me, I'm flattered. And I thank you for it because that means you're going to work your tail off.
Yeah.
And good for you.
Yeah.
Right.
That makes a lot. But you know what? A lot of the times too. I mean, I almost think like it's the OGs that started doing it that way. They end up doing the most. They end up killing it the best. So I mean, it kind of hats off to you on that.
I worked solely in the machine parts industry for 8 years and scaled it from 250,000 to over 38 million. 100
Wow.
employees and 3 warehouses. That was my fire introduction to e-commerce.
That's what I was going to say. So is that what got you into e-commerce?
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yeah.
And what kind of parts was it? Were it?
All wear parts for bulldozers, tractors. We all went down to lawnmowers and snowblowers, but then we went up to concrete construction, storage parts, the clean out balls that were super porous, and with that, and hydraulic pumps. And
Do you have your own thing that you do through this too as well?
so my husband and I have our own store. Right?
Yes, I'm about to say.
That was
She
like
was like, I don't know if I want to tell him.
I was like, hey.
I don't know if I want to tell him.
So this is what happened, right?
Yeah.
You created your own store from what you were doing.
I worked for an entrepreneur at that, and that's how I scaled it. I started
Yeah.
working for him at $250,000.
Yeah. So then you started your own store.
Let's take it back.
And then I know, but hold on. Let me just explain because I see it as an entrepreneur. I see it, So you started your own store, and then you got so good at it. That's how you know that what they're doing is real and legit.
I like him on. She was like, wait a minute, I'm making it for him.
Yes.
It could be-
So you did it for you, but the thing is, now you did it so well that you started doing it for other people.
So I was comfortable. Have you guys ever been comfortable?
Everybody at one point.
I was comfortable running a company. I got to be, I learned a lot. I'm thankful for that experience. I truly am.
Mm-hmm.
But I got comfortable. And what does that do? When do you grow as a person? You
Yeah.
grow as a person when you get outside that comfort zone and you become uncomfortable all the time. I'm not comfortable doing this, but I know that it's good for me, and I know that it's good for my company.
Yeah.
And I know that it's good for my husband, and that makes me happy. So I'm going to do it.
So that's a big deal for an entrepreneur because it's the same thing with me. I felt comfortable, and so I started feeling comfortable in what I did.
Yeah.
And then you get comfortable with the same checks too, though.
Yeah.
But why have to live with the same check every week, or even if it is a sales commission check? Like, no, you don't need to do that. But not a lot of people think like that. So when people think, oh my God, that's how most people don't do that.
No.
We know that.
But that's the limiting beliefs. It's only up in your mind. It's only up in your mind. That's it.
So what made you start feeling here I am doing this? You're probably making a ton of money, right? Probably getting percentage on sales, right?
I had a really cool title too.
Yes, you probably
I
had
don't
a real.
care about titles.
Yeah, we know titles mean nothing now that we have our own business, right?
Yeah.
So you probably got real comfortable, and they made you feel comfortable.
Sure.
So what was
making money.
the spark that made you say, you know what, I want to try this out?
I think it's the same spark that happens to a lot of people that has a job, right? So at some point you're going to realize that if you can do the best job that you can do, but at any point in time that paycheck can stop coming. And it's not that you're living paycheck to paycheck, but it's that paycheck can stop coming because you don't control that.
Yeah.
So when I was 18, I got a real estate license. My father was a builder, I had told you earlier. So I was super passionate. I graduated high school at 16, went out to a trade school college, and I said, I'm going to, live this world, right? And guess what? If you call in sick, you fire yourself from real estate. If you say, I can't do this today, you fire yourself from your job. And that's true for entrepreneurship as well. But you have to decide what you're going to do and how far you can go. You have a beautiful picture. That's the moon.
The moon, yeah.
Where did we go? We landed up there, right? Who do you think would have thought that? If you saw something that far away in the sky, it's because he believed in his abilities to do it. And he didn't fail, but he tried and didn't succeed multiple times, I'm sure. Well, I know he did.
Yeah.
I've done the history and I love history.
Yeah.
But it is these successes because he knew he could and he never stopped believing and he figured it out. And that's what every entrepreneur does. You figure it out. We don't do anything but solve problems, and if you do it well, you will be successful. Because I can't anticipate. Amazon and eBay and Walmart have made so many changes over the course of 20 years that I've worked here.
Wow.
Why not? I can't predict what's going to happen, but I have to solve any issues that come up.
That is something we talk about so much on this podcast, solving the problems, because people just let them linger.
Yeah.
Or they just like, hey, I'm done. I gotta give up because they think they can't solve it. And that's, I swear to you, that's most people.
But so if you give up, if you don't do this anymore today and you give up, what's going to happen? You know the result.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do something different, you're going to get a different result.
Yeah.
And you know what? Maybe it's another door. Maybe it's another dead end. Maybe it's another cul-de-sac that you got to turn around and figure it out. But it doesn't mean that you lost. The worst decision you can make is no decision at all. Because
Yeah.
even if you make the wrong one, you can turn it around and figure out what the right way is.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world.
No.
It's really not.
No.
And then Lambo Drew, he said, can you talk about your specialties with releases and damages and returns? Since we're talking about the turnarounds and stuff.
So this is my techie smart husband. Very much so.
Okay.
Okay.
Shout out Lambo.
Exactly. No, Lambo, Jeremiah is my husband. Lambo is dear, dear friend. Him and his wife are not.
Oh, okay.
I love them to death. But, all right, so Jeremiah, through technology, he loves doing all this. He geeks out over it, right? When a return comes in, we have a warehouse a few miles down the road from our home. And when a return comes through for whatever client it is, they scan it in, right? There's barcodes attached to it because there's a receipt in the mail. The only time it comes back, number one, we only leverage Amazon warehouses. We don't do that for Walmart, and eBay doesn't have any. So if a return comes back to us, that means it's been opened. It's not sellable as a new product, and so we have to figure out another way for you to make money and not lose it, right? We don't want you to lose your COGS, your cost of goods sold. And so when that return comes in, they scan it, and automatically a open box listing goes up in that client's store. And so it takes seconds, where it would have taken me an hour to probably redo the listing by hand, right? So it's just another innovation that he come up with to help streamline the process. And then if it goes up for sale and it's not selling still, we will then donate it to a foundation or a home or whatever it is, depending on, what kind of product it is, and then give you the receipt for your tax purposes. So it's a win-win.
Yeah.
Right?
And then he said, can you explain the difference between scaling another business and scaling your business? Like, what's the difference?
Main differences is we're always more concerned about the client. And that's funny, right? Because it's like, oh, that's cliche. No, it's not. If I only worried about my business, I don't need other people. But it's the difference between fishing with a single line or going with a fishing net, and then you upgrade to a commercial boat. So if I can make and be of service to more people and get the more things that you want and meet your goals and your targets that you've set, then I'm going to meet mine too. So if I can get you to meet yours, you're going to help me meet mine, even if you don't even know mine.
Right.
Because you're succeeding.
Well, at the same time, too, since you're helping so many people, you're learning all the hiccups that could happen.
Always.
And you're like, man, if this happens to mine, now I know how to do it, too. You know what I mean? Because you're especially if you're doing these huge accounts that you have. Sure. And even with my business, I got no choice but to worry about other people's businesses.
Yes.
Because if not, I lose that customer.
You got it.
And it's always I need it done yesterday. So I mean, I understand having to cater to special customers, especially because you don't want to lose them.
No, I want to have that retention rate that's as close to 100% as I possibly can. If it's within my ability to do it, I'm going to get out there and make sure that it happens.
Go ahead.
And how was your interview in the podcast with Bando Kev, and how's it changed?
He's I had no idea what to expect when we met him, but he's a phenomenal guy, and he actually will be doing a store with him, and he wants to essentially video the whole thing, his process and his journey through it. So that'll be happening in the next couple of weeks, and we'll get that rolling for him, and we'll figure it out.
I think I'm going to hit you up too, matter of fact. And it would be cool is if we can live stream processes. We can even, what can even be cool is like live stream, like podcast. Even wherever you are, we can do it through a Zoom.
Yes.
And even conversations of business. Like, because what we're trying to do is we even come in here, we want to have business deals live streamed.
Yeah.
Certain specific things, And I think it's good for people to understand how to negotiate and how to work business in real time, and seeing real negotiations and really things happening.
Well, and it's things like that that's going to make the difference, because if I was anybody else, I'll be like, no, I want to keep it behind scenes. I love the fact that you want to do that, because I am proud of the work that we do and the people that we work with and the processes that we have.
Well, the thing is crazy. Like we were saying, though, people are going to watch it and be like, I'm going to do it. We'll have so many people watch it, but they are not going to do it. So we don't have to worry about that. So many, like Patrick Bet-David, I'm a huge fan of him.
Me too.
He says that all the time.
Yeah.
Like, just show everybody everything, because they're not going to do it.
Yeah.
They are not going to do it. It's so scary to most people. That's why it's Howls over Baaz, wolves over sheep, because the world is sheep. it's hard to get them out of that.
But you have to be an alpha in order to have that confidence. Kobe even said it one time in an interview. It was practice. He told the dude, "I'm gonna go this way.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this move," and he still couldn't stop it.
No.
Because if you execute it right, no matter what, can't nobody stop it.
Isn't
as long
that
as you
beautiful?
execute. You know what I mean?
Let
That is
him
powerful.
cook. That was good. That was a good one. Yeah.
I remember growing up in my restaurant, my parents had a sign up there that says, if your lead follower, get out of the way. And I'm the youngest out of 5 kids. I was the first one to go to college. But I have 2 brothers that are in construction. I have a sister that went into healthcare. And I went a completely different route. But I've done in building. I've done construction. I've done both commercial and residential. I do all these things, but I have a passion about business. I don't care what industry it's in. And it
I
doesn't
know.
matter.
I have a passion about business too.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
I think it's fun, even though
Yes.
it sucks as much as it is
Absolutely.
fun. It's so fun.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh damn, I just did that. I just made it happen. I pulled it off. You're like, there is times you're like smashing your head against the wall, like, oh my god, what is
You can't
that?
go to nobody else for it. You know what I mean?
You can't.
You're the leader.
Absolutely.
But you got your husband, and he's very tech savvy. You said, right?
He's phenomenal.
So
He
you-
makes me look good, but he's got it.
So tell us a little bit about what he does, his side.
So a couple of things, huge reconciliations, right? So imagine the amount of transactions that each store and each client has in a quarter, and we bill in a quarter. So that also means that you get to use our money, that's our profit split, for several months before I bill you for it. We do that for multiple reasons.
Wow, how many months?
Well,
Man, you
quarter.
sound like
Is it 7?
that's amazing.
4 quarters in a
Yeah.
year. Yeah, so it's 3 months.
Wow, that's crazy. I never even heard of that.
Why wouldn't
For any
you?
business,
I
though.
don't like. Look, there's an.
It's almost
onboarding
like you're
fee.
investing. So do you really have to?
partners.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's like you're really investing into your customer.
She
though.
said if they don't. You said if a quota's not met, you got to give them 10,000.
Right, if I don't cash flow them and give them cash flow at least 10,000 within 90 days, I have to pay them.
So you're making things happen.
You
have
have
to.
to.
You are making.
Has to.
Yes, that's
There's
what I'm
a
saying.
difference. There's a difference.
I know who I'm going to when I get this rolling. I know for a fact.
Accountability at its finest.
Yeah.
But see, the thing is that's cool is you were talking about you hold them accountable too.
Yes.
And that's what you got to do. And everybody needs to be held accountable. You can't, even if you're the guy at the very, very top, tippity top, whatever, it doesn't matter.
No.
You still need to be held accountable to somebody because then you just start making stupid mistakes. People get this godlike complex going, and it's terrible. I've had so many people that did that.
When I ran a company in multiple companies, I still have to be responsible to make sure that bathroom gets cleaned, right? Or
Yeah.
the warehouse gets shut up and closed up. It doesn't. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter what your title is because I think titles are stupid.
Yeah.
I hate saying that
I love
word.
that. That's so great, though, man. So can you tell us? Would you be able to tell us one of your big customers that maybe people might know? I know it's harder probably because it's e-commerce. Like how many people are going to really know them, you know?
You wouldn't know the clients per se in stores. So when you go on, let's just say Amazon. When you go on Amazon, do you know who
No.
you bought from? No,
No.
you don't. You don't know that there's 30 sellers of that particular product.
You would never know. Man, I just bought this product from someone that's doing $500,000 a month. You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
I'd never know.
Or what's your biggest ones? What are their age brackets? Like, are they younger, older, or how long have they been doing it to get to that point?
Most of our clients are 40 plus. Okay, so am I. I'm a GG. Most of our clients are 40 plus because if you're looking at it is a business.
The
This
big
is
ones?
not necessarily, right? We have a few that are younger than that, but most of our clients have other careers. They have real estate on the side. They're doing something else.
I
They've
feel like
retired.
that.
Yeah.
I feel like what
yeah.
they would do, they have their business and they try to do this on the side. And they're like, dang, this is a huge business now,
Right,
right?
because you're creating
Yeah.
a revenue stream, and a lot of people liken it to stock market, right? And so, but it's safer than crypto, where you don't have to necessarily. My husband does a lot in crypto, so there's no.
Oh, sorry.
Got to do that.
I get ADHD sometimes. Go ahead.
Sorry for my son.
I took a Red Bull. So
It's, hey, you gotta be awake. You gotta be awake. No, so it's it is a revenue stream, and you're cloning yourself because if you, especially in today's economy, I can't imagine what it takes. I look at our children. We have 4, and I figure out how much money that they have to make, right? And it was in my mother's era where people still stayed at home, where the guy just went out and worked, and they had one car. Can you do that today? No.
No, heck no.
You can't afford to unless you're making 6 and 7 figures, and that depends on where you live because cost of living is so high.
Well, you and your husband seem like a dream team. Like you're
He's
handling
cool.
the
He's
outside,
cool. I
and
like
then
it.
your husband
Yeah.
handling the inside, like
Yeah.
the technical stuff.
He does the reconciliation, the financials, all of that. So he's an ex CFO, and so he does all of that really cool stuff.
And then speaking of the kids, at a younger age, would you? Is this something that you'll be able to do? And just like go all in, like no plan B. Is this a trait, or I mean, not even a trait,
So
but
number one, I never say quit a job until you have another job, right? So quit a job until you have another income that can replace it or match it or make it better. But then why would you quit something if you can do it on the side and then you make double income and then you find a better job or you find a better hustle that you're gonna do. So I'm always really strict about that. Just from a
I would see this being like someone that already has a business. And they jumped into it and just doubled their income, you know?
If I get, like, you know what I mean? There's like, and I just put like, you know what I mean?
You're fired.
$500 or $1,000 into a product.
Yeah, if you're gonna bootstrap this and do it yourself, you absolutely can. This is not rocket science. Okay. A lot of people start with just arbitration. So they go to the stores and they walk the clearance aisles and they look for all the wholesales, all the discount stores and things like that. You can buy Amazon returns for heaven's sake, and you can sell it on Facebook Marketplace.
Because I'm cheap. I'm in Ross, like, you know what I mean. I see Vans.
I hate buying. I hate paying full price.
Right, $30 shoes, and then the store that it comes from is next door, and it's like $75, $100. I got it for $40.
Yeah, no, you know it's I hate paying full price for anything. I love a good deal. I have to have a good deal for that to work.
Go ahead and read some of the comments because you're getting a lot of comments and some questions. You have some fans today.
Oh, thank you.
He said Jeremiah also specializes with his computer doctor bag. Can you elaborate on that? Drew?
Oh, Lambo,
computer doctor bag,
Lambo.
Huh? Is that one of the bags you're talking about?
That's his tool bag, right? No, I mean, when he breaks it out and gets serious about doing all the technology and the software, he's got to have that. He's got to have all of his tools. So it's like me and my makeup bag.
Do you guys have a main office, or is everything out of home?
No. We have a.
You sound like you guys are big, like to have a main office. Yeah, for sure. Too much going on, huh?
There's a lot of ins and outs. If you've got 40-foot containers that are coming in and out and need to be unloaded, you got to have a bigger enough warehouse to be able to facilitate.
So you guys have a huge warehouse then, or
it's about 50,000. It's not huge, but it's about 50,000. But I'm not in the game of storing product. I'm in the game of turning it over. So if it needs a shipment,
do any of the people that you represent, do they have their products there at your warehouse?
At times, yeah. If it's waiting for shipment, if we're bringing it in from overseas, if we're buying it.
Dang, it sounds like you're holding everybody's hand in this game. Like I love it.
Well,
like
but
that's great.
It's called service.
I know, but people don't service people like that a lot of the time. That's what's crazy to me.
She gets a piece of everything. You know what I mean?
You do.
And it's like, why not give her a piece? Like, hey, you're gonna make more money because she's interested in making you money.
And she said she'd do it for you. And she said she'd do it for you for a certain price, as it should.
We work besides our clients. You know, we work for government contracts, so we have been. That's a big one. But if I'm importing products and I know how to make products or get them made, and I know the steel density of what it needs to have for a bull gear, I can figure out what they need for a duffel bag, rifle bag. Any kind of armor without the ballistic plates.
This business sounds awesome. Like I love it.
It's product. That's what I do. I buy and sell products. That's all I do.
But those are making like the most money. Yeah. I knew a girl that was she's from China.
Yep.
And she import and exports from China.
Yeah.
And all she sells is like vitamins and all that because they got crap vitamins, I guess, out there. They even have like some that are literally made out of rat poison. People die.
Yes.
It's crazy over there. But she said that she always imported. She makes right now. I mean, she does it on her own. Her and her husband, not even thinking this big, and she does about $10,000 a month.
Yeah.
But that's small compared to what she could be doing.
Yeah,
she's literally going to Costco, buying the product and shipping them.
Yep.
If she was doing them like this, it'd be because you have to be in with the people out there, but
you have to have your contacts on the ground.
That's what she has. Yeah. But if she was doing it your way, it'd be a whole nother beast.
But I visited all these countries that I import from, and I visited those manufacturers. I know them. I know their families. I know their children, and I do that because I need to understand on a flat basis, are you going to do what you say you're going to do so I can do what I need to do?
This reminds me of Have you seen American Gangster with Denzel Washington when he goes over to the country and gets
for opium?
Right. And he wants to the source. There's no middleman.
To the store.
He wants to see who it is.
She's like, hey, we had to
do y'all have an airplane? Do you have a copter?
I wish. I still fly commercial. It's okay. My husband would be like, nope, that's way out of that budget.
You're like, hey, we're almost there.
Yeah.
So we are running out of time, but I want to say first off, what's next for you guys? Like, where are you guys trying to elevate this company? Where do you see it going? Like, what's next for you guys?
So, you had asked earlier what the difference between us and other people that do what we do. We have two sides to the business. I have 50% clients, and I have 50% as I want to attract every single brand, distributor, manufacturer that's both domestic and abroad. Why?
Tell them. You know what? Why don't you say this to the camera, too? This is perfect. Go.
So 50% of our business is clients. 50% of our business is every single brand, manufacturer, distributor that is in domestically and abroad, because I have to leverage that and exclusive products and good pricing in order to satisfy and make my clients money. So we do both, and so there is an acquisition process on the distributor and brand side as well. And we work both the vendor side to these marketplaces, so selling direct to Amazon, selling direct to Walmart, but our biggest piece of it is the seller side. So if I can replicate and clone you to have another income that is equal or greater to the one that you currently have, with some cash that you have laying around or some leverage that you can do, and I have people that can help you if you need some business help, if you need some personal credit or business credit, they can do that for you. But this is a business, and it has to be treated like a business, and we are accountable, and we want to hold you accountable, and vice versa. So let's do it. Let's make you some money.
One more thing. I love that. That was great, actually. You got me with that. But so if these people were saying, 'cause I know they're thinking, what kind of amount of money from small to high would they have to come in on to start with you?
Shit, I want to know.
It goes back to the old adage, it takes money to make money. My recommendation, what I like to have when clients come in, is they have to have at least 35 to 50 liquidity per marketplace. So if you want 3 marketplaces, times that by 3. Okay, do some multiplication here. If you want a single and then you continue to grow that. Most of our clients, when they come on board, they don't plan to take out their profits from that because they want to continue growing it for at least the first year. Because once you're cash flowing and you understand how this functions, let's say I'm leveraging your credit card. You got an Amex, you got a Citi card, whatever it is, or I'm leveraging your line of credit.
Chase.
You get your money back every 14 days from products sold, right? So if you get bi-weekly deposit or bi-monthly deposits from Amazon or Walmart, and then you can get daily deposits from eBay, and you're paying that back down, I can turn your money from $35,000 to $70,000 in the same 30 days, right? Pretty close, because you've got inventory turn and you've got cash flow. Now, do I do that right away? No, because I've got to have at least 3 months into your store. And then I raise your profit margin, because after I have at least 3 months of data, I'm going to go through and I'm going to say, okay, what can I buy? What is selling such that I can do a bulk buy for those products? I'm going to take 30% of your inventory spend to increase that. Go back to that distributor and say, I want a better price in these because we're going to buy in bulk. And then we're going to sell those. So 70% you have turning over every 14 days, and then 30% of your inventory spend we're going to turn over in 30, 60, 90 days at the max.
Dang. That's a quick turnaround.
So you asked me how far this can scale. That's my minimums to work with me, because I have an overhead that I have to meet too. And you need an income. And so I know, based on numbers, if you have at least $35,000 per marketplace to spend, I can make you money.
But there's no business where you can do that in 30 to 90 days. I mean, 60 to 90, what is it, 60 to 90 days? Mm-hmm. Like, where you can turn it around that fast. Like, I mean, sometimes you can't even get your business going for a year. You're not really making any money at all. So this is like, for people that don't have businesses, that's what you got to understand about this. You're not making money for like the first year in your business. Like, you're barely surviving.
Even 2 years sometimes.
So this, I mean, you can go up to 5 years of not making any profit.
Right.
So it's crazy. I understand that. I love that.
It's not perfect, but it's
fun. But at the same time, they have to hustle. They got to make moves and everything. There's a couple more questions though.
Also, can you talk about the Brandon Adams Foundation? And then and we appreciate you. He said, good job, fellas.
Good job, fellas.
And say good job,
awesome
Julie.
Lambo fellas. Appreciate you, Lambo.
So there's Brandon Adams is a gentleman that we met Lambo through at his Core 4 event, which is a responsible investments. Okay, and I use that word clearly because I don't like 3-letter alphabet companies. So it's a business, what we had, and we're service providers. But Brandon has put together a platform called Core 4 that he vets out and that you retain money. And he's developed a formulation that when you go into an opportunity, this is how you should do it. And it's strategic thinking. It's a good old-fashioned thing. Do you still retain access to your money, or does someone else do that? What kind of profit margin are you looking, or your ROI is going to be? And so he's got several formulations that he's put out there that you can just put into that spreadsheet and then rinse and repeat. So when people tell you something, oh, it's a 30%, it's a 40%, it's an 80% ROI, you can actually find what the real ROI is by using that formulation. And so the Core 4 event, which was in DC a couple years ago, and we met Lambo through that, and just a shout out to them.
Shout out to Lambo.
A great time.
What would you be doing if you weren't doing this?
What would I be doing?
Yeah.
I don't know. I was a mom. Now I'm a Gigi.
You're killing it. You're killing it at this. You're meant to do business. You're meant to do business.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lambo. He said new subscriber. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Loving that. Well, I want to thank you for coming out. So our slogan is "Shed the Sheep." Can we just look at the camera and say "Shed the Sheep"? 1, 2, 3.
Shed the sheep.
So thank you for coming on. You killed it. I love this episode. I'm going to watch it because I need to retain everything you said.
I'm going to give her my credit card.
I think a lot of people are after this episode.
Yeah.
But we appreciate you coming on. You did a great job.
Thank you.
Howls over Baaz. I'm Jacob Casas.
I'm Rico Savage.
And we are out.
Thank you.